Want first place, come play with me. You want second place, go somewhere else.
It was better later.
It was an everyday process.
Coffee's for closers only.
You're listening to the Morey Health Podcast.
He is a doctor of physiotherapy, an exercise scientist, has a keen interest in sport and musculoskeletal work, which has seen him coordinating injury prevention and athlete management programs for both amateur and semi-pro athletes. This has seen him working with the likes of Sydney AFL team, Western Suburb Magpies, North's Rugby Union, Shoot Shield team, and the Cronulla Sharks, Harold Matts and SG Ball teams. He is now an NRL referee physiotherapist and works in a clinic located in Sydney's Sutherland Shire out at Gymea for peak performance physiotherapy. Please welcome my good friend, Kevin Vuong.
Thanks, bro. What a rat.
Yeah, so thanks for coming on board. I guess I'm going to dive straight into it and ask you, why did you become a physiotherapist, and what was your journey from the decision that you went, physio, to now? And think of it as if you're trying to educate someone who is thinking about getting into the industry.
Yeah. So I suppose the idea of physiotherapy started heaps long ago. So probably about 10 years ago. So 15 years ago or something like that, when I was about 10, 12.
So how old are you now?
27.
Right.
There you go. 15.
There you go.
15 to 17 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose playing a fair few sports when I was younger, getting injured, going to a clinic locally, and then seeing a whole lot of people walking out of there doing what they wanted to do after not being able to do it for a while. That sort of just sparked something in my mind. Like, I want to have that type of input into someone's life, like make a change to their life. So I suppose that's where I was exposed to physiotherapy at the start. And then, just kept playing sport, kept getting injured, kept going back to the same physio and whatnot. And I think just getting involved into it made me enjoy it.
Nice. So you said you got injured. What was the very first injury that you copped?
A jarred thumb, bro.
A jarred thumb. What were you doing? How'd you jar your thumb?
I was playing cricket.
Bit of cricket?
Yeah.
Right.
So not a good cricket player back in the day when I just started. So catching the red leather, just didn't know what to do. Hit the thumb and you're like, shit. I think I broke it at 10. You start crying and you get to physio, and that was my first injury.
Nice. And then after that, what was the next thing? Because, after one, it just keeps coming in.
It just keeps rolling. I think the next one was rolling my ankle. So playing a bit of schoolyard rugby league. There was a bit of a ditch in the ground, and then next thing you know, you're on the floor with it.
Right. And you grew up in Western Sydney, right? So we know that the sporting fields out there are top-notch quality, and there's no ditches at all. So surprised that you found a ditch in the potholes that are of Western Sydney local suburban grounds. No surprises there.
It depends where you go.
Right.
My particular one, there was a big pothole.
Now, I guess going from that first injury and deciding that, physiotherapy is not too bad, I think I could do this as a kid. What things did you put in place to try and get yourself there?
Well, I suppose to start off with, it was just like I had an older cousin, probably 2-3 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went into study physio, so I just picked her brains, asked her what it was like studying it. And then I suppose when I got into year 11, year 12, I just want to do, like, my biggest thing was PDHPE.
Mm-hmm.
Really grasped the concept with the anatomy side of things compared to every other unit that I did. Then I applied for sports science at ACU.
Mm-hmm.
And physiotherapy at Sydney Uni. Didn't get the grade, so just went straight into sports science.
What was the mark for Sydney Uni at the time?
I think it was like a 99 something, 97. Yeah. It was way up there.
Ridiculous
but
numbers.
then, getting getting into sports science, I was like, well, it's got to start here. I've got to do something. So I went to work as a physio assistant at a clinic. So learned a lot of things from there. So hands-on stuff, communication. Then went into the EP side of things too there because I had an EP clinic attached to it. And then learnt just the exercises, basics from them. Then I suppose enjoying a little bit more, that's when I got involved into the AFL side of things because our clinic was branching out to that. Enjoyed every bit of it because it made you think on your feet. It made you communicate very succinctly to your players, particularly those that weren't listening to you. So you had to find a way to communicate to them. So I loved all that.
Any good stories from that? Sorry to break up that, but any good stories about any players that were a bit challenging and you thought, I know better and this is how we're going to deal with it?
Yeah, well, because we're the club that I worked with initially, a lot of the boys were in the army. So
what was the club?
Yeah, Western. Shit.
It's a long time ago. That's all right.
Moorbank Magpies.
Moorbank Magpies.
Yeah.
Right.
So I remember one of them got concussed. I'm like, no, you got to come off. And he just blatantly said, F off. Like, at that time, being that new into the field, I was like, shit, all right. I walked off and backed off because I'm like, this guy he's been through a lot of crap. So,
yeah,
I don't know anything.
And he could chew your head off at any moment.
100%. He was triple my size. You knew me. I was a scrawny little guy.
You've come a long way, mate. You've come a long way. It's been pretty good. So you were doing some, was that volunteer work or was that a paid job? How old were you when you were doing that?
That was paid. So that was basically once a week. So game day stuff.
And this is as you were going through uni and doing your sports science degree?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my first couple steps.
Did you go and do personal training or group training, fitness courses, things like that? Or sort of, did you just go in and say, hey, look, I'm willing to help. I'm very enthusiastic. I'm doing this degree at uni and give us a job.
Basically I was just like, hey, I want to be a physio. Where can you help me?
Nice.
And then basically said, come, we'll take you on. And we've got other physio students here. And even though you're not doing it, we'll help you out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
That was good. That was my first exposure to private clinic. Behind the scenes, yeah.
And you would have been, 19 years old when you were doing that?
18.
18. So straight out of high school, straight into a physio aid position type thing, trainee, and get out there and old mate from the army's telling you, I'm not coming off, you bloody idiot. And all right, no worries. He's a big fella, let him go.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And then from there, what other experiences were you accumulating on the way?
Well, I did that for several years, and then I went to North Rugby, Shoot Shield. I wanted something different, so just job seeker, whatever you call. But it's Sports People was a good website if you want to get into voluntary roles or look for physio jobs.
Is that jobs for sports people? Yeah.
Yeah, sportspeople.com is a really good website. So that's how I picked this one up. And then did that for about a year and a bit. That was a year that North Rugby finally broke the drought.
Yeah.
And finally won the premiership against Sydney Uni.
Hey.
That was good. It was good to be part of it.
That's pretty cool.
Did that for a couple of years as well.
Do you think you were instrumental in getting them across the line?
Nah, bro. Well, I suppose I did like the strapping. I did the rub.
You kept the boys on the field, right?
We had a head physio. Yeah. You had the head physio that looked after the whole thing because I was probably at this stage only 21 and only a couple of weeks into my Macquarie degree. So had no idea about injuries.
Right.
Management. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. That's pretty cool. And then from there, Shoot Shield into, where'd we go? AFL?
Yeah, back to local, Western Suburbs AFL,
Hmm.
and that's a great club.
Whereabouts do they play at?
They're at Ash. It's like Ashfield area
Ashfield
in the
area.
west.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I was there for placement first, and then the head physio there said, "Hey, look, we're looking for someone to join our club to look after Div 2."
Hmm.
And I'm like, "Sweet, I'm keen." And then it stuck with them for the second year.
Right, right. So no loyalty to any in particular sport. I mean, you've gone from rugby league to rugby union to AFL. You just seem to like all oval ball sports. Did you dabble in
100%.
soccer at all or anything like that? I mean, cricket's the
Nah.
only exception there.
Oh, I wouldn't mind cricket. I still keep that as an open option right now.
Right, right. So if the
Yeah,
Australian cricket team said, "Hey, Kev, come on over. We could use your help."
yeah, 100%.
I'll see
If
if I
you,
can.
yeah,
If I know a few people, we can try and make that work out.
oh, 100%. Even if it's the All Blacks, because you're related to all of them over there.
I mean, I've got New Zealand heritage and a Kiwi passport, but at the moment we're not going anywhere because of this bloody COVID. Um, so yeah, and then anyway, so you went from Shoot Shield at Norvs, winning the premiership, back to local AFL at Western Suburbs, and
Yeah,
then you've gone to Cronulla Sharks.
yeah. So after that was all done, I went to Cronulla Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
I saw an offer up there again on an ad. Took that on, went for an interview, and I'm like, hectic, this is cool. Walking with expectation, I'm not going to get this. It's it's NRL Cronulla Sharks.
Now, at this point, were you a fully
Um,
fledged physio, or were you still as a student trying to get through
yeah.
the day?
At this stage, I was a physio. I
Mhm.
think I've been working in the industry for about 6 to 12 months at that stage.
Mm-hmm. And then, so what was the experience over at the Cronulla Sharks? Those boys can be interesting.
Sorry, you cut out.
Sorry. So what was the experience over at the Cronulla Sharks? That experience can always be fun and interesting.
Oh, yeah. It was surreal. I think being involved in the whole junior reps program, but also being allowed to follow the first graders, that was pretty eye-opening just to see how things were operated at a high elite level. And then comparing to what I've done in the past with sub-elite as an amateur, you sort of get a good feel for all of it. It taught me a lot. Sort of just how to be regimented in terms of rehab structure, how to alter things even though someone's injured, how to alter their training program, keep them involved with the squads, and then write a timeline starting from the day you want them back, and then you work backwards from there.
Interesting, because
Yeah,
I guess every athlete is very different in terms of context. So context is the most important thing as to what time of the competition they're in and when they need to
yeah,
play versus when they could have some weeks off potentially, depending on if
yeah,
finals are coming up or big games and they're a big game player and et cetera, et cetera. It's an interesting
yeah,
dynamic for you to juggle. No, that's pretty cool. And
yeah.
then, did that land you the role as an NRL physio or NRL referee physio? Sorry, or how did that come about?
So doing NRL match day physiotherapy for the referees came about just through randomly. Actually, I was always, because as you would know, I've been in the referee thing for a while. And I'm like, I wonder if the referees need something. So I suppose I reached out to the head physio and I just talked to
Michelle?
her. Yeah, and
Yeah.
just like, how do I get contacts through that?
Michelle,
So I
that
think I've
Minicello, is
emailed
that,
Badge.
which Minicello is that?
Yeah.
Which Minicello is she related to?
What do you mean?
So it's Michelle Minicello, right?
Like
She's,
Anthony and Mark?
mm,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
one?
So yeah, the Anthony Minicello
Yeah.
and Mark Minicello.
Yeah. Which one is she the wife of?
No, that's their brothers.
Oh, are they all,
That's their brothers.
oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
See, I didn't know the
Yeah.
whole connection, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's her siblings.
Right.
Yeah. So your stalking skills aren't as great, eh?
I mean, I don't know her that well, so I've never met the lady.
Yeah.
But from all reports, she's a wonderful, wonderful lady, wonderful physio, and
Yeah.
helps keep
No, she's
the
awesome.
officiating team on the field and keeps them going, which is really cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you stalked her down
Yeah.
on
So
what, LinkedIn, and said,
no,
"Hey,
I
give me a
just
job."
looked at. No. So I tried to find her and see if I could get a contact email,
Hmm.
and I couldn't find anything. So I reached out to Badger,
Yep.
and they just said, "Hey, I'm a physio, blah blah. Can I get any contact to your head physio, Michelle?" And he came back surprisingly and said, "Hey, this is her email." And so I sent it to her. Waited for about 4 months until she replied. I'm like, "Holy shit! Like this is 4 months ago."
Some
And
physios are really good like that. Hey,
yeah. Um,
4
and then
months.
4 months later, she contacted me, and then it's like, "Hey, look, we're planning to do something different this year, which is to have physios rather than trainers." And yeah, that's how it started.
Man, that's pretty cool. And then, unfortunately, with all this COVID, you got 1 week on the paddock, and then it's all stopped, or did you get a few weeks
Yeah,
before that
yeah,
with the
yeah.
trials?
Nah, I just got the round one, and that was it. So that was Rabbitohs versus Sharks. It was a good game, particularly because you're working with a team that you used to work with. So you're like, "Oh, this is cool."
That's pretty cool. Congratulations on
Yeah.
your debut in the NRL as a physiotherapist for the rugby league officials group. It's a
Thanks,
very
bro.
elite group to be a part of, so I think you should be
Yeah,
pretty proud of that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. No worries. All right. That's a pretty good background history, I guess, on what you had to go through to get to where you are now. Okay, let's talk clinically a little bit. So you went
Mm.
to do exercise science at ACU, and then you finished that. Then what happened?
Um, well, basically, my aim was still to get into physiotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
but so I applied for the postgrad at Sydney Uni. Didn't get into it, so I applied into exercise physiology. Got into that,
Where was that?
Sydney Uni.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much did the whole semester, and then I came across Morey Uni providing the doctorate program of physiotherapy, which started at semester 2.
Mm-hmm.
So went through the whole semester of EP plus exams, and I'm like, sweet, okay, well, I haven't heard anything from Macquarie, and this is probably the end of the journey for physiotherapy. But then a week before uni was about to kick off, I got an email, and they're like, "Oh yeah, congratulations, you've been made an offer to come to physio at Macquarie."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, shit, what? What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't believe it. Closed the book for a little bit. Opened it again. I'm like, the email's still here. It's not a joke.
Wake up
Like,
from your dream,
all
Kev.
right,
Come on,
well,
mate.
yeah. So I suppose after that, I'm just like, great, this is an opportunity calling. I'm not going to waste it. Straight away called up Sydney Uni. Hey, how do I get out of this course? And then yeah, just from there, jumped across the Macquarie Uni. Again, no loyalty.
Just do what you got to do to make it happen, eh?
Yeah, 100%. And that's something that I've always lived by is just stay consistent. And if you've got something that you want to do, just keep putting processes in place to achieve your outcome.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And you did it, and now you're a fully fledged doctor of physiotherapy. Now, can you talk really quickly about the very controversial, or maybe not, use of the title doctor when you do your doctor of physiotherapy, and what that means in compared to a master's of physiotherapy, and what does it mean to be an actual doctor, I guess, in our industry?
Well, I think as a master's compared to a doctorate, you just do the extra research component, and hence why our course was 3 years compared to a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to an actual doctor, I think respectively they put in a lot more work in the research side of things. I'm not saying that we didn't in our course, but I suppose it's like a thesis in terms of what we did, where they completed the whole thing.
Yeah,
in the
so
research.
I guess for some perspective for people, Kev's talking about a doctor in physiotherapy world, not a doctor of medicine and that sort of thing. So essentially they do their physiotherapy training and then they go on and do a PhD in, I guess, a topic or an area within our industry. And that's when they do that deep dive into research. And for the actual particular course at Macquarie, I believed it's one of the highest, I guess, practical hours, or one of the courses with the most practical hours that you have to complete to actually achieve the award. Is that?
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So I suppose, day one, pretty much you get what we call you pretty much get allocated an individual in the community, and you just basically work with them for a semester. And that was from day one. So you got hands-on stuff straight away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting course for someone that's gone through it, and I guess because I'm going through the exact course now, I'm just over halfway. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm assuming you did too.
100%. Yeah, every minute, like, wake up early. Who cares? This is what I wanted to do.
That's it. It's definitely worth the sacrifice, even if you are at uni for 5 to 7 years, depending on what you're going through. So you did a 3-year undergraduate and then a half a semester of XPhys.
6 months EP.
And then another
and then
3 years
on top of that with Doctor of Physio.
And you've been working ever since?
6.5 years. Yeah, from day one.
Yeah. So day one, what happened? You got your graduate certificate saying congratulations, Mr. Kev Vuong. You're now a doctor of physiotherapy. So your title is now Kevin Vuong DPT.
Yeah.
Right, and then BXI or something, whatever that is, and then so you said you had a job from day one.
Yeah, luckily I was very fortunate because with the placement that I finished off in, it was a private clinic, and they pretty much took me on board as soon as I finished that placement into when I graduated. So like, sweet. So the transition was pretty easy in terms of not needing to find something and whatnot. So yeah.
Was that pretty common for your cohort? For the people that were doing placements, they usually got a job from the places that they were doing placements at?
To be honest, I can't remember. Okay. I can't remember.
That's all right. That's all right. That's pretty cool. Now, I guess a little bit of background into our relationship and our history for those that are listening and watching in is that I actually met you refereeing rugby league at Parramatta Referees. Now, I started when I was 14. And how old were you when you started refereeing?
I'd say probably 15 or so.
Okay. So
I was in year 10.
What year was that?
Year 10. 2008.
Okay. So that was 2 years before I started refereeing. And I started in 2010. So you were there for 2 years. You see young buck like me coming through. You go, oh, yep, all right, here we go. Another one. Because there was plenty of us around at the time. And a lot of that cohort is actually still refereeing today, which is pretty cool. And I guess from that point, what got you into refereeing rugby league?
Well, first of all was the love of the game. Second was I wanted to build my personality. Being quite young, I was quiet, no self-confidence, no self-esteem, didn't know what I wanted. And then being a referee, you're pretty much stuck in the middle. You had to make the decisions and you had to back yourself up against like mainly parents back then who were probably twice your size, twice your age, twice your life experience, whatever. So, and communication was the biggest thing. Didn't know how to talk very well and still don't, but it's given me a good platform back then.
You got it right so far. No, that's pretty good. Was there anyone in particular that I guess pushed you into doing refereeing or said, hey, come on over?
No, just me. Our high school was offering a course and I'm like, well, I'm going to do it. So I did it, heard nothing from them after I completed it. So I just Googled just rugby league referees local. Then Parramatta came up, and then that's it. Yeah,
And
joined
then
up.
little did you know that you're a part of the greatest referee association ever.
Oh, 100%. Well, they always bring up Bill Harrigan as theirs, Ashley Klein as a couple today, but back in the day. So
Yeah, they've got a long history of being very successful in their refereeing, which is
yeah,
awesome. Awesome to be a
100%.
part of. I guess from that refereeing side and whatnot, when you were going through there, the likes of me were coming through. What else did you get out of refereeing, and what kept you around for more than just a year? Because most people that get into refereeing, they get in for 1 year, they kind of dip their toe in the waters. They don't really do a deep dive because a lot of them are playing and refereeing at the same time,
Yeah.
and I guess they don't really develop either the way they're going through the ranks or the way they'd like to go through the ranks,
Mm.
or they're just not seeing that they're enjoying it the same way. But then there's a lot of people that if they do get past that first year, they tend to referee for years on end.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kept me around more than a year was, I suppose, the community that the referees provided. Everyone was there to help each other. Not many people were there to sort of like put someone down. If you weren't doing great, they'll try to pick you up. And then the other thing was just personality. I got along with a lot of people. And then for me, I didn't want to stop something I just started. I want to dive into it pretty hard, see where I can go with it, challenge myself mentally and physically, because that would have been the first place I got challenged both mentally and physically. And it was addictive. So I suppose that's what caught me on top of the community vibe that everyone had.
What was the addictive part? The part that you were in control of 26 other people on a field, or the fact that you were seeing yourself develop as a person and as a referee, gaining skills and I
Yeah.
guess fitness and physical development on top of things, or is it a combination?
No, it's more the latter. Like just having the control over myself and my thoughts, and my thoughts would dictate what I would do physically, and how I would manage stressful situations. It all comes into the mind. Like that was the biggest addictive thing. It's like, shit, yeah, I'm angry today, but if I can control that anger and talk to someone really well and get the message across, you can see the influence that you have with just the basic words that come out of your mouth.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you had, I guess, we all have tough days, but if you ever had a stressful situation throughout the week and then you came and refereed on the weekend, did that affect your footy or?
Nah, because you were in high school, like there was not much stressful stuff in the life, huh?
Right. Fair enough. No, that's good. And I guess the one thing that I take away more than anything else from refereeing, first and foremost, is the friendships that you develop there.
Yeah.
Would you say that you developed a few decent friendships there and whatnot, other than obviously this is very evident, but
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Now there's a couple people that I still keep in touch with here and there, more recent than before. So yeah, definitely you make those friendships along the way that you still carry on, like you see between us, which is what, 10 years?
At least. Yeah. And then, so when you were 17, you made the decision to stop refereeing rugby league.
Yeah.
To focus on HSE, am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So just the fact of, you have to turn up to training. If you didn't turn up to training, you don't get games. Well, I'm like, well, chuck up the two. Well, at the moment, I can't commit. And if I do commit to refereeing and I don't eventually down the track, I'm just going to let the whole squad down. Or I'm going to be in the way of other people who, could have taken this opportunity and made it even better. So I just made the decision, hey, look, if I'm going to half-ass it with refereeing and potentially block someone's avenue to get into better places, just pull out completely and focus on the HSC.
That's a really good attitude. Did you have any regrets about that or whatnot? Or
always.
Yeah.
I think I've talked to you about 2-3 years ago how I kept saying that I'll come back. That's because it was always on my mind, and it got to a point where I think it was 2 seasons ago, I was like, I'm dead set going to come back. I don't know what happened.
Well, now you're the physiotherapist for the NRL referee, so you jumped everyone that's already been tracking along trying to get themselves up there as a referee. You've just gone, nah,
Mm.
I'm just going to be their physio. We're just going to go straight to NRL.
Yeah, well, that's one way to look at it, but it's still not what I wanted to do as a young kid as well, which was referee. If it was not NRL level, it would have been junior reps level. I would have been happy with that. But yeah, so I suppose looking back at it, I do regret it, but I don't regret it
As a
because
physio,
of the opportunity of doing match day physio for the referees.
it's pretty cool. I mean, as a physio, you've gone through the Harold Matts and SG Ball junior rep system. So you've kind of dabbled in
Yeah.
that area as well, which is pretty cool.
Like I said, yeah, it's always about change the process, which is if I can't get into junior reps, how am I going to do it? Which is through physio.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
so you stopped refereeing rugby league, but then you started refereeing OzTag. When did you
Yeah.
start doing that, and what was that process?
I think it was basically 2011 or 12, something like that. Stopped playing OzTag myself, and I'm just like, hey, look, I want to get back into something I loved, which was refereeing. And again, with everything that I said before, which challenged me mentally and physically, I said, at a lower level, social level, just give it a shot, do it again. And yeah, that's how I started.
So you've been refereeing for the great Bill Harrigan at Fairfield OzTag for years now,
That's
and
correct.
that's seen you go from a local park OzTag referee up to State Cup at Coffs Harbour, and then you've gone on even to nationals for
Yes.
the Australian nationals seniors and juniors. Is
Yep.
that right?
Yep. Yeah.
OzTag carnivals,
Yeah.
championships.
Yeah. So yeah, did the state juniors and seniors. Then I went up to nationals, juniors and seniors, and then out of the blue, they gave me an offer to referee at State of Origin. Yeah, which was pretty cool. I'm like, like I started, I did not expect any of these sort of representative level gigs, but they came about and I took it on to challenge myself again. And yeah, again, will not regret it. One of the best experiences that I've had.
And what age group or what division was that you were doing the State of Origin?
Pretty much all, because I had they had juniors and then they also had seniors.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So got to do like a whole variety of age groups.
That's pretty special. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I still got the jersey, so I don't think I'm gonna put that away. I still got that, and then doing, I think it was one of the state cups down in Tamworth. I was ranked up there. I think it was in the top 5, and I got a game ball.
Wow.
So I still got that. It meant a lot that day because the Tamworth being quite hot, right? I'm quite prone to nosebleeds.
Yeah.
So grand final, under 30s, I think it was like Penrith versus someone. And then all of a sudden I just like, shit, I got a nosebleed. So I try to run it off. And then it just got that hot. I'm like, nah, stop the game, boys. Got the touch judge. He came through and then, it was cool. Took a break and then came back on to finish it off.
Jesus.
And then the boys, the teams were like, shit, you're right, and all that. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. So it just showed how like these guys were at me. Then at the end of it, they were like just checking my well-being, which is like, that's what meant a lot to me, was just that despite the competition, the friendships and the community again, that you're able to develop post-game.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
And that's why the game ball means a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The fact that you had such a good rapport with the players that they were actually concerned about your welfare. You must have been doing a pretty decent job.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, once you get them on side the first time, you kind of don't hear it after the 100th time, do you? So it falls on deaf ears because you're so focused on the game.
Yeah.
The rest of it doesn't matter. You're there to make your own decisions, and that's pretty cool.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, okay, so you're now working at Peak Performance Physiotherapy. Gymea
Yeah. Yep.
for the great Ash Cohen.
Yes.
She's a wonderful physio out there, specializing in dance, physiotherapy type rehab, and a number of other things. She's got a history working with the NRL Bulldogs team,
That's
and
correct.
she's running her own shop with Sydney Dance Company. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a pretty cool chick. I got on, and she was my physio for a little bit, treating me with a few injuries after being connected through a colleague of mine at university, and her brother, actually, Damien Cohen. And then, as you'd know, Damo.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I guess from there, Ash was looking to expand, and she was going, "Hey, we need some physios. Do you know any good ones? Could you recommend some people?" And I kind of said, "Hey, my friend Kevin Vuong, he went to Macquarie Uni. He's pretty good. You should check him out." And I left it at that. You sent in your resume. I sent you a message as soon as I walked out of there that day. Just a
Yeah.
matter of luck. And then here you are now. How long have you been working for her now?
Coming up to 2.5 years, I think. No, yeah, 2.5 years. Started in started in March. Our interview was on my birthday, 7:00 in the morning.
What a birthday present.
I know.
How good's that? That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome. And now I don't see Ash anymore. You're now the physiotherapist that I get to treat me, even though I'm going through and learning how to be a physio myself. And you could say I know a little bit, but that would be an overstatement. So
You know a fair bit, right? You're smart.
yeah, but I still like the idea that I'm not going to be treating myself, that I've got someone else to keep me accountable, and then they've got a objective view onto how I should be doing things and how I should be rehabbing any little niggles or injuries that I have. So thank you for keeping me on the field and keeping me at my peak performance, which is pretty cool.
Nah, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute honor to have you come to me, even though, Ash is 10 times more knowledgeable. It's a great honor to have you say that you'd come to me.
100%. And I keep sending people down to your way as often as I can, as long as they're not living in North Sydney. If they're living, Bankstown, Cronulla, that area, St. George, I'll send them down your way and say, hey, check out this guy.
Oh, thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
I wouldn't send anyone to someone that I wouldn't see myself. So I think what you're doing is pretty good. And I'm pretty impressed with all the little side projects that you're working on.
Well, to keep the mind busy.
That's it. So you do that quite a lot. So I guess you've got a few projects that you're working on. One in particular is the fact that you got into amateur sprints recently.
Yeah.
So you started doing 100-meter sprint work, right? What got you into that?
I suppose I've always wanted to do it as a kid, right? So probably since the age again, like of 8, 10 years old, I wanted to do it, but never got the chance to do it. Didn't know what to do. And then basically at the start of last year, 2 years ago, I was like, I'm going to do it. Didn't even know when the season was. So I checked and it's like, season's completed. We're towards the tail end. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just give this one a miss. Then following year, I'm like, okay, well, I have to figure it out. On my Windows page, I just left the tab open for probably 8 months. So it reminded me. And so, that's what I'm like, okay, well, I'm hitting age 26, 27, probably peak is about around that age or a little bit more and all that. Plus life commitments are going to get in the way later down the track. So there was no other time except now. Contacted a couple clubs, caught up a couple clubs, got rejected. No one answered, no nothing. And I just emailed one person probably 2-3 weeks prior to the season starting. And then they're like, yeah, just turn up to the park. And I did. Didn't know anyone. And I bumped into these 3 guys. They're like, after I did all my warm ups and all that, and they're doing all these plyo stuff. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. And they're like, hey, you guys, are you here to train or anything? And I'm like, yeah. And I asked them back, hey, can I just join the club? Would join you guys to train? And yeah, that's how it started.
Right. So
And
three
then
blokes
my
down the
first-
park, come on over.
Yeah. So and then my first meet was like, I think it was at least on that week. So I trained on the Tuesday, and then yeah, the meet was either the Saturday coming or the Saturday after. So I only had 2 training sessions on track before I competed.
That's awesome. And how'd you go? Whereabouts did you actually go down to train, first of all? When is the
Yeah.
season, secondly? And then where was your first meet?
So the park that I train at is White Park, so it's just down the road from me in Lidcombe.
Mhm.
And then what was the other question? Number 2?
The season.
Oh, the season starts. First meet was October. I think it was like the 23rd of October or something. And the first race was an all comers. It was at Bankstown, so that was just for people to get used to the season, build just everything. Yeah, so that was my first one, and I think I got a 13.72 in my first run.
Across 100 meters. Now, was that
Yeah.
off scratch? So did they have different start points where some people were starting at the 0 mark and some people were starting at minus 20 meters?
Oh, no. So we all started at the 0, but it was in heats. So you ran against people who would be around the same time.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a
Yeah.
massive gap between you and the guy
Nah.
who's at the front.
Nah.
That's pretty cool. So 2 weeks
Yeah.
of training, you go straight into your first race, and then what's the outcome? How'd you go?
Yeah, 13.72, and I was pretty stoked. Like, I mean, going in there, pretty anxious, nervous, didn't know what to expect. I mean, I got one-on-one session with an old mate from high school. He ran through a couple of things. And then before that, I was doing strength training stuff for about 3 months with a good strength and conditioning EP guy called Chris Aslan, Alpha Athlete.
Shout out to
So
Chris.
he hooked me up. And then without him programming those strength stuff, I wouldn't be where I was. So yeah, put all that together, I was pretty happy with my progress.
Right. And then so you get through your first heat. Do you get a second heat?
No, that's it.
Just the one race.
Yeah.
It's
So
all
you go
over.
there,
in-
you prep for about an hour, and then your run lasts for about 15 seconds. Or yeah, if you're faster than that, obviously, yeah, your run is shorter.
Surely you could last a little bit longer than 15 seconds.
I want to go faster, bro, not
Right.
longer.
Right. So of course, sorry. Right.
Yeah.
And then, so did you have your little spiky shoes and everything by then, or is that something you have to get along the
yeah.
way?
No, I got it just on the day before my first training session. So to make me go down to that field, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get spikes. And then I was looking for about 4 weeks for spikes. Nowhere had it. So yeah, just turn up to one of the shoe places down in Cronulla, and they had my size, and I'm like, perfect, get it. So yeah.
Nice. That's pretty cool. And how have you gone from when you started your sprint work to now? Has your times improved?
Yeah, it's improved. I think my PB went down to about a 12.72 or 12.75. I mean, it sort of just fluctuated between there, but to me, time's a secondary thing. It's all about the mindset again, developing that determination and discipline to sort of adhere to your program, and that will flow into accountability. If you don't adhere to your programs, I mean, you don't train, then your results won't reflect. And then having that consistency through as well. So even though I'm accountable for it, if I don't keep it consistent with my training program, then the results don't show. So I suppose it's all about the process and that journey that I learnt from. It was just learning about me. What was my limits and how far can I push myself mentally and physically to achieve what I want to achieve.
That's pretty cool. I mean, most people do it because they either enjoy the competition or they enjoy the camaraderie. But for you, I guess it's a bit of a self-development and self-realization, self-actualization, finding yourself within that process and just enjoying the journey. And I think that's so
Yeah.
much more important, that the fact that you actually enjoy the process and enjoy the journey of what you're doing, and you like making mistakes because it means you're going to learn, you're going to grow.
Yeah, 100%. You just always back to the drawing board. No matter if you get your PB, it's like, okay, well, where can I go now to improve? So you just got to back yourself all the way. And then in that period, I just literally got in touch with two other coaches, sprint coaches, to see where I can to get better. One I stumbled across because I was just training at the track, and I just went up to him and asked, "Do you do one-on-one sessions?" The other one was same thing. I just went down to the track just for a walk. He was there training someone else, and I just stopped him and was like, "Hey, look, do you offer any of this?" Yeah.
So
So that's how I try to sort of went back. Yeah.
with your 6.5 years of university study on how the body works and how you can get optimum performance, what was, I guess, the things that you found worked the best for you to help you get those little bit of improvements, apart from getting the professional coaching, and what was some of the most bogus shit that you've been told that just goes completely against the evidence that you've learned?
Bro, get a Theragun.
Get a
Helps you with
Theragun?
your recovery. It does not. I think it's good for relaxing, but man, I wasted a couple of $100 on that, and it literally just sits under my bed now. That was one of the biggest bogus things. I'm like, I know it won't work, but I'm just gonna go for it and see where it goes. And nah, I don't feel the same. I don't feel any different.
Right. It's like using a TENS machine or something, ultrasound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Respectively to those things. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it might feel nice, but interesting.
Yeah. 100%.
That's great.
But yeah, using my experience, yeah.
So, what things did you think helped you the most actually get some progress physically?
It was a recovery method. So just finding what recovery method worked, how much sleep that you needed post training or just leading up to a race. That was quite important for me. I found about a good 10-hour sleep was efficient. So that was the biggest thing that I'll have post training. So on the day that I have training, I'll make sure I just sleep for 10 hours. Then before a meet as well, I would make sure I had decent sleep. Food wise, that was another big thing. Just light things on the day, just nothing too heavy, nothing carb heavy, nothing protein heavy, just something to sustain you through to the meet. If I was craving something a little bit cheeky, then I had to make sure that it was on a Sunday. So therefore, I had enough time to recover for the Monday, the Tuesday training sessions.
Yep.
Yeah, and then ice baths was a good thing.
Ice baths. How did you get that happening?
That was another
at home?
big thing that helped me. Yeah.
So how did you do ice baths?
Buy 2 bags of ice.
Yeah.
Which is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Put it into the bathtub, fill it up with water, get in there for about a minute, 2 minutes, get back out into so it's contrast showers, get into a bit of warm, and then jump back into it whilst I'm doing a bit of stretches as I go to the shower.
Are you following the old protocol, 1 minute in, 1 minute out for 7 different rotations? So you're in there 15 minutes just doing that?
Yeah, sort of. Depends on if I can manage the cold for the minute.
Right. You said 2 bags of ice from the local servo is not enough. How many is enough?
I'd say 3.
3 bags, but then it gets too
3
cold?
3 bags would be good. Yeah. So that was the max I went to, was 3. Yeah, 2, it just melted way too quick.
Just your hot body temperature melting all the ice, mate.
All the ice.
That's what it was. And I guess you said diet was really important to you. Now, you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but you had a bit of a health sort of, not scare, but things that, you had to go through. Do you mind talking about that?
Yeah. So what was it? It was probably 2000 and late 2017, 18, early 2018. Driving home from work and all that, I was just, eating whatnot. Got home, and then all of a sudden, my body would just feel weird. Like I'd just get blurry vision, muscle aches, headaches. Go to sleep, so I wouldn't finish my dinner, and then I'd wake up about 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning and just start vomiting, like heaps, to the point where it was just like nothing was coming out. So that happened for about, I'd say, a good 6 months, on and off.
That's pretty scary, man.
Yeah. So you just constantly, every single time it'll hit at 1 o'clock in the morning. And there was a night or two where I remember waking up and it was just till 6 o'clock in the bathroom, just sitting there, just waiting for the next one to come up. Didn't know what was happening. I went to a couple of GPs and went through heaps of tests. Didn't know what was happening until I changed GPs just to get different opinions. So by this stage, it was about 6 months down, 6 months to close to 8 months. And then, they finally said it was, I had gastritis, so inflammation of the stomach lining, but also lactose intolerance. So I can't enjoy any of my dairy anymore as much as I wanted to. Because, every time I had something with dairy, which oat milk was my favorite recovery thing back in the day.
I don't blame you, mate. It's got very good evidence.
Oh, amazing.
Chalky milk, especially skim milk. Just,
Yeah. Oh, I like the full cream milk. You like the skim, but you're fancy.
I like the fat, but just trying to think of for those people. But
that's true.
Yeah.
So at this stage, I didn't do any sport for close to a year. No weights training, no OzTag, no refereeing, no nothing. So that was a big hit to my lifestyle.
So you withered away at nothing, even though there wasn't much of you already.
Yeah. I pretty much, at my best, I was sitting at 80 Ks, and I dropped down to about 69. So I lost heaps of muscle, and I suppose the body fat, whatever was on me at that stage, I'd lost all that. So it was back to square one.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
And
then how did you build back up? So you got the diagnosis that you were lactose. You would have had to change your diet, throw out all the milk in the fridge, no more chocolate. You a chocoholic? You one of those people that just go, oh, I wouldn't mind a bit.
Yeah, I enjoy like one or two types of chocolate blocks here and there. Like my milk, like every time I go to sleep, I had a cup of milk. And also I had to put like the chili things aside because that was causing the gastritis. So spicy and chili stuff.
Right. And then, so your family, do you guys cook with a lot of chili in your food?
No, not too much. So that was easy to sort of put aside, but the dairy side was the biggest thing that I had to put away. And to the Asian community, we all like pearl milk tea. So I couldn't have any of that for about a year or two.
I like pearl milk tea too, man.
Crazy. Well, I won't limit it to the Asian community, but you surround yourself with a lot of the Asians, so
I grew up close enough to Cabramatta, and spent enough time around there, so I can justify it, I think, and went to UNSW where the Asian population is strong.
100%.
So you had to change your diet. Sorry,
so I had to change all that, which was challenging because one was, okay, well, how am I going to get my dairy intake now? Where am I going to have my happiness, which was chocolate milk? And so I just stopped dairy, just straight out, cold turkey. And it was hard because I was trying to put on weight too, and a lot of the supplements that I wanted had some form of dairy in it. So that was hard. So it was just resorted back to food, just solids.
So what diagnosis did you have to go through? So what was the process? Was it a blood test? Was it one of those rash things where they try and put...
Yeah, so it was blood test, a stool test, halitopractus, or I don't know how to say that word, but you blow into a bag, see if there's like a bacteria inside your stomach. What else was there? There was an MRI on my brain too, because I kept getting these headaches to the point where it felt like I was hit by a car in my head. So they're like, well, let's just check out. There's no tumors, no nothing in my brain. So I went through that, and everything was cleared. Went for a second blood test with a second doctor, and nothing again. And so that's when we went for the what do you call it again? Gastros. I can't say it. Never can say that word.
Gastrostomy?
Yeah, that one. The one where they put the camera up the backside and down your throat as well. Endoscopy and a gastroscopy.
Endoscopy. Yeah.
Yeah, so they come through both ends.
Yeah. You got cameras from
And-
either side and meet in the middle, right?
Yeah. And then they took a biopsy out of my gut, and that's how they found out.
Wow. Okay. So that's
Yeah.
pretty intense. You had to go through a lot just to get that diagnosis.
And I think throughout the process, I was a bit in denial as well. I was like, no, I'm fine. And then, it wasn't. So I'm glad that I went through the process, and again, just kept persisting to find out what was wrong with me.
And did you have problems with dairy as a kid growing up, or just all of a sudden, young, healthy male, and then bang?
Yeah, that was how it is. I remember there was one day where I literally woke up and it felt like 1,000 tons was on my body. Couldn't move a muscle, couldn't move a joint. So that freaked me out. Yeah.
And what have you gone to now? So you said you quit milk cold turkey. Do you have almond milk, oat milk? What do you do for recovery drinks or meals?
Yeah, so now I've got a couple milk supplements that I go for. So it's like lactose-free milk. I go for almond milk. I go for oat milk. Sorry. That would be my main ones if I was to have like a smoothie or whatever. I've just recently found some coconut-based yogurt. That's really good. And then what's it called? Dairy-free or vegan supplements. So White Wolf is one of the things I tested first and loved it. So yeah, now like if I have to take supplements, I'll go for something that's like White Wolf, which is vegan friendly.
And so did you have to go see a dietitian to try and get this worked out for you, or did you just test things over time and find out what was your preference?
Yeah. I think initially I was just researching a lot on my own. I was referred to a dietitian by a friend, which I didn't end up taking just because I didn't have time. So just most efficient is just to research, trial and error, see what I can do on my own terms and what I understand to make the modifications.
No, that's pretty cool. And then you had to start building back up from there. And how long did it take until you were feeling like yourself again?
Probably close to, I'd say 1 or 2 years. It took a while because I went back to training in the gym. Thought I was just as good as I used to be. So nope, had a few back issues back then. So I had to get that fixed by Ash and another couple of friends who are in the physio industry. So they helped me through that, and then just built my program slowly. And then I approached my friend Chris, and that's when he just stripped me back and just said, "This is the program we're going to do." And that's where I needed that honesty. Knowing it myself, I needed someone else to tell me. And that's where we built back myself mentally and physically from just square one.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. And then that just got you back in the gym, starting up, looking at form, going lightweight, and then building up resistance and whatnot from there.
Yeah. Just take the load back and just work on how to just brace, for example, comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much? So you went from 69 kilos back up to where are you now?
I'd say 74, 75.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
You're a pretty tall fella for those. I mean, on camera it's pretty hard to see, but how tall are you?
I think 6'1".
6'1".
185.
Yeah, so you're very lean built. You got those long legs, long arms to get you some power starting off the blocks on your 100-meter sprint. So that time should be, getting pretty quick pretty soon. I want to see a sub 12.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, that's the goal. Oh, let's get that. That's the goal for this season coming through. So I've already started my training pre-season stuff. Mainly getting the load back up in the gym And then, yeah, in the next 2 weeks or so, I'll increase my field work.
Okay. Yep. Now, is there any other projects that you're working on at the moment? So, I mean, you work on yourself,
Yeah.
but I mean, professionally or anything else like that?
So professionally at this stage, I've done a couple projects in the past was just running workshops. So just to help develop juniors, just want to get out and understand a little bit more in terms of running and how they can implement that into their sport. So AFL, basketball, soccer, rugby. That was run that 2 times in the last couple of holidays. Then I've also built a run performance one-on-one coaching thing alongside with peak performance. So that's like a 10-week program split into 5-week blocks where what I find differ is that we create a pre-screening, identify things that need to be improved in range, in strength, in power, in terms of mechanics, motor control. Then taking that, putting it into the athlete and understanding what they want to achieve over the next 5 to 10 weeks. First week would be like taking a base measurement in what they want to achieve in speed, power, agility, whatnot. And then just running through fundamentals of sprint mechanics. Then week 2 would be fundamentals of power development. And then from there onwards, yeah, it's just depending on what the athlete wants. Then of recent, I've started to get more into like just junior movement, building their mental mindset, but also physical capabilities. So that was going to be implemented before this whole saga went through around the world. But that's just basically introducing kids to the gym, to foundational movements, such as the hinge or like the squat pattern, how to use the pull-up bar. So just getting them strong by hanging up on there, and then that motor control too. So that coordination that a lot of sports need, and then the mental mindset. So stuff like attitude of gratitude is one of the biggest things. Identifying their weaknesses and how they can improve on it, communication skills, stuff like that. Yeah.
Everything that you were looking for as a teenager, you're now providing, and then even as when you're trying to get into sprints, you're now providing that one-on-one coaching that you found so hard to find in the first place. So I think that's pretty cool that, you found it difficult to actually...
Sorry, you're breaking up, bro.
You got me? Yeah? Okay, so no, I think it's pretty cool
you
that
broke up.
You got me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. So I think it's pretty cool that you have gone through...
I know I got you now. But yeah, I do.
Okay. You've gone through and you've created programs where when you were a kid, you were trying to put together, or you were trying to find such a program, and now you're giving it to someone else. So
Yeah.
what age group is this particular program targeted at?
Basically anyone from like say 8 onwards up to 16, 17. That's the biggest one, because I feel like at that stage kids need to explore what they're capable of and not just be focused on one thing. Like they can be, but in terms of the body movement studies. Sort of say if you just kept if you kept wearing the same shoes over and over and over and over, then you just wear out your joints, you wear out your muscles, you increase your risk of injury. So your longevity in the sporting world isn't going to be there. So just allowing them to understand and to explore other avenues is important at that age.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy, I guess, about specializing in sport at such a young age at the moment. For some sports, it really works. For other sports, it's a bit of a question mark on that. What's your take on those sorts of things? Do you think they should try a variety of different skills when they're young, and then, when they get to, I guess, ages of 12, 13, 14, that's when they start to pick a sport and stick with it for a little bit?
I think it depends on how early they've started being involved in sport. The other thing is have 1 or 2 sports that you enjoy mostly of, but have other things to test out as well. Because you can always, again, it comes down to developing different communication skills, spatial awareness, coordination.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. I mean, you would have tried a plethora of sports as a kid growing up.
Yeah, yeah.
What were you playing when you were growing up?
Pretty much anything and everything. Hey, like I went from cricket to basketball to tennis to like t-ball to just running to like long distances, Oz tag, rugby, touch. Yeah,
Jack of all
golf was another
sports.
thing.
Golf,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You're the jack of all sports, master of none, hey?
exactly.
And then the peak of your athletic career is refereeing at the state of origin for OzTag.
I'd say so. Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
No, actually, it would be the state cup. The state cup one where I sort of was in the top ranks because I went in not wanting to get anything out of it, but aside from personal development. But yeah, to say that, hey, look, you're one of the good referees, that was really rewarding.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And if you were to give advice to 15-year-old Kev, what would you tell him?
What's that, sorry?
If you were to give advice to the 15-year-old Kev, so 15-year-old self, so if you were to go back in time and say, hey, Kev, listen here, mate, here's some home truths that you need to know, what would you tell him?
Sorry, you're breaking up.
Sorry, mate. So if you were to tell 15-year-old Kevin some advice, maybe even before he got into refereeing,
Yeah.
what would you tell him?
Sorry, I couldn't get you, bro.
You don't have me?
Go again.
What advice would you give 15-year-old Kevin?
Oh, got it. Explore everything and anything and don't be afraid to ask for help. Shame and embarrassment will pay off in the future.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
And if you were trying to seek help, where would you go look for help?
People that you would trust, like at 15, I'd say people that you would trust. So literally anyone. So family, aunties, uncles, cousins, teachers, friends. If you're involved in like a sporting team, your coach would be a nice one to go to. If you're not, then I suppose just keep asking people, who do you know would be able to help me in this avenue? Because from my experience, doing it lately, pathways will be created when you keep asking.
I agree. I'm completely in the exact same position. I'd say that the more often you ask for help and you recognize that you could develop further from seeking help from a mentor or a specialist in the field or just someone who's just slightly ahead of you or even below you. You never know who you could learn something from, and you never know. You don't know what they know because you haven't been in their shoes. So don't judge someone from, I guess, their cover. You want to approach everything with an open mind if possible and see what you can learn from them and grow from there. And then if you're trying to really be proactive into trying to better yourself and be the best version of yourself, as long as you're willing to put yourself out there, you're going to get what you want in return.
Yeah. And even if it's not something that you ideally want out of them, you still learn something.
And it might not be what you want; it might be what you need.
Yeah, 100%. So that's why, you just got to be open-minded to that, to what people have to say.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Man, I think that's pretty cool. I think we'll leave it there. We'll wrap it up now. Now, so if anyone wanted to try and find you and wanted you to treat them as their physiotherapist, where do we go?
So I've got Instagram. Best place to reach me would be at KV_physio. Or you could even reach me out and see what we do at our Peak Performance one, which is at Peak Performance Physio. Yeah, and that should pop up.
Right. And if you Google Peak Performance Physiotherapy or Peak Performance Physiotherapy Gymea,
Yeah.
you should be able to find it as one of the first searches.
Yeah, 100%.
And we could find your ugly melon on there somewhere.
Yeah, it's not that pretty, so I wouldn't go onto the website to look at my face.
Just go in and book in, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if anyone sort of is wanting some help, advice or anything in terms of physio side of things, running side of things, I'm open up for it. Just shoot me a DM.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
That's all right. I appreciate it.
And I might have you on in the future if you allow it.
No, looking forward to it if there is another one.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Morey.
Bye.